golden hairs danced in the moonlight, shading that of a weave of deep colors of dim golds. The moonlight of so many golden tints, high above on such a night, a celestial one in all its moonbeams. Closing his eyes, even on his mask, shade of the black umbrella wouldn't leave his mind. She was saying she thought her accident, lines of flirtation, spilled into a way to apologize. The leap fighting her own instincts to not fall more for him, seemingly to fix a good friend of another good friend's mistake, only to accidentally land a kiss on his lips. In the pool of water, or was the golden child the one who allowed it, unlike the living statue? Yes, he had meant it to happen. Her body language betrayed her, promising herself to not love him, for as Kagami had stated, I broke up with him. I ended it. He disappointed me. In her mind, Adrien had never gotten over Marinette, not knowing whom had his heart in a padlock in the first place. That only Marinette was the key to choosing into it with just her blood-red gloves and little black moons on them. Adrien was starting to become more and more intrigued of his classmate. Plaid, edging him on and on about she was the scent of home, and his own father was losing the golden bell that fastened him down inside the mansion. The dark and alienated Kwame's eyes glowed a sinister green, not evil, just of defiance of his caretaker, Adrien. Once he loses that bell with the next mature transformation, then he will all know you are free, Adrien. Imagine with each thought, the more and more your bell will either vanish or eventually fall off. When this happens, rejoice! You'll truly be free. You're probably wondering why I didn't take the umbrella back. Huh. I told Marinette she'll need it to get through all this. That's a pun to mean I couldn't accept her feelings because LB handed over the umbrella, a metaphor to gain feelings from me finally. It's all wrapping me up into this web of desire, trust, and most of all, the warmth is shining brightly. You tell me Marinette isn't LB. She is Multi-Mouse, and she's way too close to home. She has control of the contact to the Kwame's, Cat Noir, me, and this, and something else that I pieced together. Our attributes leads up to fade to black. Adrien's daydream and his memory sequence. She had slyly held his hand ever so tightly, just as he did with hers in New York during the brightest full moon. The cycle on repeating feelings he was hiding from her and himself. That smile always warming up his inside, and it was exposing itself. Never dared to let his father know of this. Superstitions rising as he added up of why his father was being attacked by Mr. Rat. It was a freaking act. And would Marinette help him face the truth? One passing throw after another drained him while they fell. A thought. Reaching out to her, mind's eyes were focused only on thoughts on the dark-haired beauty's living features. Adrien was so glad he initiated the little detail in his head. Just go for it. Uncanny as it was, Adrien had picked up on the flirtation heavily and overheard her. Keen ears as one can be without being an actual cat. Intelligent and forthcoming. He heard her say it. Husband. My husband? Clear as day. And it brought him such peace. Love pouring into him. All alone, his Marinette, even for only a few moments, with the way she spoke to him, not sure of everything coming out of her mouth, she wanted to kiss him. She was crying over him, and she wanted to be with him. And she clearly was in body language, placing both hands over her face. Those eyes clear as a summer sky. Heart leaping inside, butterflies in his stomach. She was returning the gestures. Again, her body language, eyes big and blue, and the excitement in her facial expressions had him overwhelmed with emotions. At this very second, seeing her hold on to the very first gift he had given her had his mind in stare-crazy shock at first. Then, giving her space, she moved over to him. Again, nothing was holding him back as he made a space for her to reach over to, opening his arms length to gain her attention without a word. A love language of his own that he learned from Kagami, one that understood Marinette's love language as she gushed about how great Adrien was. Somehow it reached Adrien. Let her make her move. Adrien's brain rushed her back. Adrien didn't reject Marinette. Far from it. He didn't want it back. It was special to him, and if Adrien kept the umbrella, it would be the darkest in his life accepted back. This was his mother's, plus the memory of him saying goodbye to her. Also, the umbrella from Marinette's bed was not only red and silvery white, it belonged to her. She was giving him both sides of herself, though he wondered why the other part had silver white. Was there something or someone preventing their closeness? The dream, the white version of himself. Was this scary version in her dreams too? Did she dream share with me? The same cat got up from where he sat and lifted up to whisper, Marinette, you fool. Keep your love a secret. Tell no one. The fear is prevention of your separation. Show her the way to your heart. Be patient. She'll come to you, no matter how long it takes. The satin blues of his transparent eyes tapped his shoulder, that of an old friend, the kind that is an anti-hero, not enemy. Save her, not his cat. My mistake was showing off myself. A show off. Someone not worried about consequences. Oh, one more thing. Don't trust Gabriel, Grest, or Natalie. Not much time. Trust yourself. The heart is used to love, but watch whom you love. As he turned away to look at the moon, Cat Blanc, I am him whom she fears. I put it around her to buy her the time she needed to fix me. Fix you? How so? I wasn't able to control the Akuma for very long. Use that energy of love to fight this. Create within your heart a small shield that only she can enter, nobody else. You and her against the world. Are you saying Marinette and me against the world? Indeed. You always felt you wanted her to be your lady. Instead of separating them, join them into one. Fall married as you would for Ladybug. Are you the same person? Tell me. Are they the same person? Are you and Cat Noir the same person? He barked back. Sometimes I believe we are. I just haven't discovered who I am as of yet. Show her the way, Adrien. Give her the path of mortality. Immortality? The moon switched from full to broken pieces. A glass spear in the darkened skies, barely surrounded by stars. They lost their light, for the moon couldn't shine like it once did. Without her warmth, Adrien, you're only an encrusted dark spear of darkness. Nothing to see, and you remain blind until you reach the outskirts of her daylight. Sunsets is the last glimmer of hope before you take back the night. Marinette is whom I called out to, Mr. Cat. She is the warmth that engulfs the beating heart in my chest. I lost everything just by choosing what others wanted, not for what I needed. I can't shine without her. I'm just the shadow of her. Following her until her light is gone. Use destruction to help her repair. Start over. For the beginning was darkness, and forever will you be until you gain your light. Marinette, free falling from the open up night sky. Looking over to Marinette, she seemed to be swimming in the abyss, the light of a star guiding him. She was bright, covered in golden light, when he grabbed her hand, holding on tightly. Fear on her face while he pulled her fragile body to him. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. The flapping of their clothes as they both kept falling. The dark hairs were released from the twin tails, hold pushing to her face, framing her small face. Adrien only glanced once before nudging her head with his. She proceeded to touch him over and over one hand, clamping to him, trying to breathe, saying nonsense. Adrien, I really hate you. No idea where we're heading to, nor does it matter. So sorry I made you feel annoyed. I wasn't sure you wanted me like I did, and you're my best friend. You are. I hope you're okay with me not being this dream girl of yours, Ladybug. I heard you were a fan of her, and that is nice of you. I'm not sure what you're saying. The wind is very strong, and my ears can't hear you clearly. Just to let you know, I do understand only one thing you said. You like me as a person or as a real human being. The words had them falling into a unique setting, similar to their hometown in Paris. Where were they thought? I think we made a U-turn before the timeline we should be. How did it accomplish such a feat? Fluff helped me. The little white rabbit with the blue eye, Jill giggled. Kept wondering what time frame were they in. Oopsies! Hope we didn't make a mistake. I forgot the powers of my other own. Let's hope we fix this later with the Guardian's help. Even if Adrien didn't know for sure that Marinette was said person, that boy always had been gifted with charm. That's okay. When we're done here or everywhere, I know Ladybug will fix it. She always has solution to the right time. Even if she messes up from time to time, she'll make a way. She always does. I trust her. Besides, Adrien glanced over to Marinette with the next lines. Marinette can be quite resourceful. Seen it with my own eyes. Attributes that the amazing Ladybug. It can be said the same for my extraordinary best friend Marinette over here. I'm sure that being so close to Ladybug, she learned already a lot from her. Not only that, she did give me Mulu to be multi-mouse once. Oh, she slipped up big time. Then remember Plague did it first. Being the red-suited and spotted hero was so exhausting. It didn't matter if Adrien and Catnor knew she was the mouse one, just as long as he didn't know the other. Flipping over from the wings of pigeons... Oh no. Achoo! In which Adrien sneezed all over Marinette, causing her to blink. Usually, I think your sneezes are adorable, but now snot in my bangs. Adrien just smiled huge embarrassment. A rose blush swept upon his cheeks. The angry pouts was so sweet to see. Was she the first girl he met as a superhero? Dismissing the thought, he shook his head. Seeing things, Adrien. You daydream way too much. And even so, you think that Marinette's the Ladybug you teamed up with for months and months ago? Just as fate had it, and it was a softer blow with the help of Kalki and Fluff holding them up magically. They both landed on one another, falling for each other and on each other. Just kept the fire from burning out of them. Adrien just shrugged it off, laughing as she did. Oh my gosh. Strange as it was, it felt nostalgic. Beautifully crafted to regain memories of just them two. Oblivo. A huge being in bluish purple stared at two people staring at two other people running. Could it be our doppelgangers? They look as if they were being stalked, Marinette. That dark shadow has the outlining of hawk moth. Look at it. Those clever eyes notice in detail. The gray horse with the white markings, gray with a white mane, muzzle, arms, legs, and underbelly. She also had light green eyes, eyelashes, pointy horse ears with white insides, and a thick white tail that curved outwards. She was very expressive, forest green eyes under close inspection. At least from Marinette's point of view, or Adrien finally seen it too. You two are back in time. Your time. This is a recent past life that was supposed to be erased from the natural order of events. Thanks to the miraculous ladybugs that sweep it away. They fix the problems of the negative emotions of the Oblivo. Both of the teens looked at one another, trying to smile through it all. While looking at each other, Marinette rubbed her face in her own disbelief. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh god. Adrien didn't remember what had happened because him as alias Cat Noir had fought the beast with his partner, Ladybug, and sensed the danger was drawing closer towards them. They looked at each other once more, whilst Marinette was in shock. Adrien's protective mode had kicked in, and pulling her behind, he grabbed a crowbar. Lifting her up as a lance to hide her away from her danger, he motioned with combat soldier fingers to stay there, wanting to make sure the Akuma just missed them. A blur of red and black ran past them fast as light speed. The ladybug was using her yo-yo and made the best comments to the heir or villain. The present Adrien only smiled until someone that looked actually like him found them. The boy had a bunch of cardboard taped up representing a suit of Cat Noir. Even Marinette noticed the designs. You made this? She questioned the Adrien twin. Yes, my girlfriend needs my help and recently found out we are the heroes of Paris. Sorry, so weird to see someone that matches my appearance. I'm Adrien. Are you here to help us? Adrien? Marinette gasped. What is your last name? No, according to my phone screen, it says Gabriel Grest, so apparently he's my father. Adrien the presently smiled a huge grin on his face. Marinette is his girlfriend, and if that is Ladybug, then... My girlfriend Marinette becomes Ladybug with me by her side as Cat Noir, but my Kwame, I think he is a black cat creature whose name is Plague. Well, he floated off leaving me to do the right thing. I need to defend my girl. Please excuse me. By all means, he shouts out to him. Go save your woman. Marinette only seems shocked as if it sinks inside her brain. The caper she didn't remember was happening. It was happening right now, unfolding before both her eyes. Adrien is... She couldn't believe what her eyes were beholding. Not too long after that, Plague returned, and then she saw the green and yellow lightning surround the body of Adrien after watching him say, Attacking a lady on the ground? Where are your manners? This boy she had always loved, the cat that never left her side. The thoughts of how Adrien was there when fate brought them together. How he snuck out to see her to ride on the star train. The boy was desperately trying to get to know her. If he couldn't as his cat persona, he would try however as possible. He never gave up. Adrien wasn't there right beside her directly. Instead, he grabbed her hand, pulling her over to visualize what went down. Her best friend wanted to see it before the time was fixed. The body bulled with overlapping motions how this kiss felt. A hungry him just wanted a taste of that feeling they once had. In unison, working together with the learning of their weapons and the lucky charm becoming a teapot. What am I supposed to do with this? Make tea? Former Ladybug commented that pun that made him happy. Adrien giggled, his eyes darting to how he instructed her that it could be used for a situation. It was then Marinette who realized how important Cat Noir was to her. What deep down he meant to her. A lover and a fighter for a cause to free humanity from negativity. Dark bliss Marinette Adrien hears. They did it all together, after releasing Aya and Nina from the spell of feeling underneath. They weren't caused by Pingo game as thought of before. No. It was stemmed from the thought of wanting to be the bug and cat of Paris. This realization saddened him. Even so, he dodged the emotion bullet. It really was them two against the world. Then it happened, causing his cheeks to burn, the eyes glued to their comments. Kat had the one chance to ask permission to kiss her, and then she let him. The bedroom jades shimmered in the sunlight, and her blues lighted up with the impact of the tight grip of his hand and utter holding her to him. Marinette only stared of how it happened. Tears started to falter in the eyelids belonging to Adrien. But they had only met first as their civilian forms. A hand over his heart he would place over skipped beats. The golden hairs blew gently as the kiss lingered for minutes. Not too long after, two friends fell out of the trance, Marinette's best friend taking a quick snapshot exposing their love. Marinette is my lifeline. The reason I became Cat Noir. I love you, Mari. No, he has to find a better way than this. Losing memories of past selves pull away. The words spoken from her hurt him. What in the world just happened? Again he clenched his heart, breaking little by little. The full limp streamed of salt. She rejected him in the past. The anger on her face when he shot himself up in confidence. We do make a good couple, don't you think? You're the only one that doesn't see it. One thing for sure, you do make a good-looking couple. Adrien? He felt her hand on her shoulders. The portal is ready. We got to save... She was cut off to examine his face, covered in salty tears. Words like that were spoken by her isn't fair to Kat. Ladybug had to mature enough to understand real love. She needs a guide to understand the methods of a healthy romantic relationship. Even though I wasn't in love with Kat at that time, doesn't mean it hasn't already started. At the moment, I am not Ladybug. I'm sorry for the rejections. Too biased on your other side. Attraction and kindness is what drew me first. Then I saw that you were sensitive too. Plus, you always flirt with other ladies, and well, I'm never impressed with that. As your cat alter ego, you came up as a guy who plays girls. They fall in love with you with a drop of a hat, and you don't see it too much. Then when I point it out, you get all cocky about it. This makes me feel like I'm a toy for you to play with. So I chased you around as Adrien everywhere because you don't get to see me ever, unless by accident. I've tried to even plan picnics, ice cream, and gather just to get near you. Only that it always fell through. Then later, I myself had come to the conclusion to move on after trying so much. I dated Luca. It wasn't fair to him because every time we talked on the phone, I said Adrien. Slowly walking to the sad boy's space, over to distraught Adrien. Her fingers caught the tear as the tips moved up to his eyelid to stop him temporarily, some of them dripping off finger digits. You told me once before you weren't good at showing feelings. What caused that, Marinette? Did you think me showing up was really by accident? It wasn't. I read your letter that Master Fu said was for him. And later, Mariana came over to me before transforming, claimed to know who I was because Fu and Mariana never ever lie to one another or keep secrets. She too knows I'm Cat Noir. This is why she was angry with Ladybug when you didn't care about me. Fu knew you loved me, I'm betting. And that makes total sense why the Celestial Guardian didn't understand why we didn't trust one another enough. There were times I wanted to tell you, but Rena Rouge... Adrien cut her off this time. Do you mean Aya Chisare? I know who Rena Rouge is. Special handshakes we do is what we, as Adrien, had made a pact with in civilian form. I caught on quite well. And when I said that only she could know your secret, I didn't necessarily mean Rena. I meant you trusted her more than me, your partner who was always there for you. I even encouraged you as Adrien. The voice was not meant to be scorn tone, just to open up his lady's eyes that trust was being violated, and she seemed to set the rules on who was to know first. She didn't tell Luca or Adrien. She only told a person that wasn't a superhero because she earned it. She also gave it to her permanently as if it was a gift. Adrien knew that Shadow Moth knew that Aya was going to be targeted now. Kwame should never be given for a gift. Inside, Adrien was angered about it. This was following Shadow Moth's footsteps, using them as possessions to give them to friends. He was starting to question her motives now. Marinette didn't like the words that followed. You shouldn't give Kwames out like candy to babies. The wrong people will use them for their own motives. I know because I used one to gain your affection instead of following my brain. You were all that was in my head, an obsession that clouded my judgment. I just wanted you all to myself, and I might add, if you won't, you was all over me as I romanced you. Even told you I was not only Adrien, I'm also Cat Noir. My soul wanted you to know. You tried so hard to save me, right? I tried to save you and love on you, Marinette. Uncertain how to approach, she was lost in words to banter back. She really had hurt this boy, doing all this pursuing, relaxing in his arms as Ladybug, and playing flirtation games. Torment his skull with popping yo-yo on top of his head. The endless rejection after rejection was so many wounds for him. Dodging the bullets as Cat and hurting with each passing full moon reminded of how she lighted up his world. That longing of just her touch. You can touch me. I want you to touch me, Marinette. Touch me wherever you wish. Adrien didn't wait for a response as the hand was placed on his throbbing heart. The rise and fall of his chest compressed as he used her turning fingers just to slightly scratch him there. When you fenced me, your lance struck my heart, dead in the center. You were way before Kagami. You'd always been my first friend I made by myself. You do realize I have to erase your memory now. We can't know about this. No, you don't. I don't want to forget that I have feelings for you. So what? They aren't the lovey-dovey ones read in sweet fairy tales where no problems exist. Except blocks from villains. And they never got to know one another, but for somehow being together for a couple of weeks. Why don't we rewrite our own story? I know for a fact there are no happy endings where the couples never perish. Even if I don't want it to end for this story, someday it will. Can't we both be happily in love and share everything together until we come to that book closed? I want to be the characters in the book that shows that love prevails, and the stars will be smiling down on us as we place in our own legacy. Hey, Adrien Cat? No, what do I call you now? My fifth name will do. Aphanes. Remember how important that day was for me, didn't you? Joking and seriousness aside, call me yours. That would be enough. By the way, do you like the bell or should I not have one? Either way, let's go, you lovebirds. We have a village to save. Or wait, where is that place? The green portal swoops them on in before Kalki can finish instructing, leaving the two holding on to one another, tighter than before. Anchor themselves to the grip of the rabbit and horse. They trust each other to never let go of each other till they reach their destination opening. A great discovery of timeline should never exist and now awaits them. What will this journey prove them? Love conquers all?